CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Brendan Purdy.
The UCP is basically cutting the courts out of the equation, and that's cutting a big part of our democracy out of the equation.
Tonight on CTV News, a preemptive protest. The province's Labour Federation and trans activists speak out against a UCP bill not yet tabled. Good evening and thanks for joining us. It was make or break for Mark Carney's government today, but the Liberal minority managed to get the votes it needed to pass the federal budget and avoid an early election.
Nays pour 170, 170. Nays contre 168, 163.
It was a narrow confidence vote. Green leader Elizabeth May supported the budget. 4 other opposition MPs abstained, 2 New Democrats and 2 Conservatives, including Edmonton MP Matt Genereux and rural Alberta Member of Parliament Shannon Stubbs. The Liberals are 2 seats shy of the majority they need to pass the budget on their own. Had the vote failed, Canadians would have been sent back to the polls just months after electing this government back in April. The Alberta Federation of Labour, alongside advocates for transgender people, say they believe that the province is planning to once again invoke the notwithstanding clause. This time, they say it'll be used for a bill that impacts children. Bill 9. The legislature's public order paper indicates that Bill 9 is scheduled to be tabled by Justice Minister Mickey Amery this week. It's titled the Protecting Alberta's Children Statutes and Amendment Act. People speaking outside the legislature today believe some of the language in the bill will infringe on the rights of trans youth. They also believe it could be enacted using the notwithstanding clause. The province used the same clause a few weeks ago to force teachers back into the classrooms after a 3-week strike. In September, the Canadian Press obtained an internal provincial memo showing Premier Danielle Smith directing officials to invoke the Charter's notwithstanding clause to amend 3 laws that affect transgender people.
By using the notwithstanding clause, the UCP is basically cutting the courts out of the equation, and that's cutting a big part of our democracy out of the equation. And so for that reason, everyone should be concerned. This is clearly not just about trans kids. They used the notwithstanding clause against workers and teachers just a couple of weeks ago. That's why we're here, because if they're going to use it against workers, if they're going to use it against vulnerable groups like trans kids, who's next?
Minister Amery says Bill 9 will help vulnerable children and teens.
We're going to use every single legal and constitutional tool that we have to protect our children. We look at this from the lens of our children, what harm they might suffer, they might stand to suffer. We'll take every step available to make sure that they're well protected.
2 laws are currently in effect. One involves the use of pronouns in schools, while the other bans trans athletes 12 and older from competing in female leagues. The province's other law prohibiting doctors from providing gender-affirming treatment for trans people under 16 is currently before the courts. We expect to hear more about Bill 9 later this week. A group aiming to recall dozens of UCP MLAs says more of its applications have been approved. Operation Total Recall is currently collecting signatures to recall Education Minister Dimitrios Nikolaides and Airdrie East MLA Angela Pitt. The group's website now lists approvals for 10 other MLAs, including Cabinet Ministers Rajan Sawhney, Dale Nally, Miles McDougall, and Speaker Rick McIver. We reached out to every minister on that list. In response, the UCP caucus sent us a statement saying the recall process should not be used to overturn democratic elections just because an individual disagrees with government policy. Elections Alberta says confirmation of approved recall applications will be published on its website following the required timelines. The city is making changes to a deadly stretch of road in southwest Edmonton. Members of the city's Vision Zero traffic safety team, council members, and police heard concerns from roughly 75 people living in Edgemont at a traffic safety town hall. Many are worried about the Edgemont Way and Edgemont Boulevard intersection. That's where a 65-year-old woman was hit and killed by a truck turning left while crossing the street. The Community League's president acknowledges that change takes time, but says that his neighbors have been asking for change for years.
These are mindless accidents, right? The solutions are really straightforward, and we just need that investment from the city. It's things like speed bumps or crossing lights, and this will help prevent any more needless death.
The city says it's installing 4 speed bumps along Edgemont Boulevard and changing the intersection to a 3-way stop in 2026. A woman is dead after she was hit by a vehicle while walking her dog on the weekend in northeast Edmonton. Police say the 58-year-old woman was rushed to hospital where she died from her injuries. She was on a marked crosswalk on 153rd Avenue when she was hit just before 9 a.m. on Saturday. Officers say a 36-year-old woman was turning left onto 153rd Ave from 82nd Street when she hit the pedestrian. Police say that the dog ran away but was found unharmed and then returned home. The driver stayed at the scene of the collision and wasn't injured. Neither speed or alcohol are believed to be factors in this collision. This is the 30th traffic death in Edmonton this year. Work will soon begin on another bridge in our city. The city says construction on the Dawson Bridge in Riverdale will cause minimal interruption, but critics and local businesses say it's another obstacle for those trying to get to the downtown area. CTV's Connor Hogg reports.
We think that Edmonton really loves the little brick.
Jenny McAllister is a partner with River Valley Company that owns several Riverdale businesses, Dog Patch, Bread and Butter, and their first venture, Little Brick.
Our hope is that we can service all of Edmonton, and some people have to drive a little bit to get here, and other people can walk down the street.
Driving to Little Brick will soon get a little more complicated. The 113-year-old Dawson Bridge that connects Riverdale to Forest Heights will soon be undergoing a refurbishment that the city says will extend the life of the bridge for years to come. McAllister can appreciate the need to keep bridges functioning, but says it won't help people get to Riverdale.
Anything that makes it a little bit more challenging for people to get here is challenging for us.
Area Councillor Ann Stevenson says city staff has worked to avoid a full closure amid the number of other construction projects around the city.
Moving forward, I think it's going to be very important that we continue to fund this work really consistently so that we don't have this pileup of deferred maintenance.
The city says starting the week of November 24th, construction crews will use a barge system on the North Saskatchewan River for the first months of the project. The city says traffic won't be impacted until early 2026, when the bridge will undergo temporary single-lane alternating closures for about a month. Downtown Revitalization Coalition Executive Committee member Cheryl Watson says even a month of partial closures won't help the crush getting in and out of the downtown core.
Better proactive planning so that you don't have so many dependent routes that are all impacted at once, and they are open to that. So we're looking forward to future improvements, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Back at Little Brick, McAllister says she's hopeful the bridge work won't deter longtime customers from visiting.
We really hope and trust that Edmonton loves their local businesses and will put in a little bit of extra effort to get here.
The city says it will share details about when the lane closures will start by early next year. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
People are getting a chance to see parts of Rogers Place not normally accessible to the public. Public tours are now being offered. CTV's Amanda Anderson goes behind the scenes.
Now in its 10th season of operation, Rogers Place is opening its gates to the public, offering tours of the home of the Oilers.
We have a 90-minute behind-the-scenes experience that takes fans into areas you wouldn't normally get to see on a game day or concert day.
People will get a chance to see the Oilers Hall of Fame room filled with memorabilia and the spot the team does post-game interviews. They'll also head high above the rink to see the view from the press box.
We're going to head into the star dressing rooms right now, and so like I mentioned, this is where all the celebrities, when they come to town, Katy Perry, Brad Paisley, this is where they get ready before a big concert. There's really something for everyone, regardless if you're a hockey fan or if you just want to see how a world-class arena works.
This tunnel leads to another highlight on the tour, the Oilers dressing room, but you can't go inside.
It's pretty rare that we don't have somebody in the Oilers dressing room, whether that's players or coaches. So at this time, to keep the tours readily available throughout the month, we have held back on the dressing room. It could be something we include in the future.
Fans do get to see the visitors' dressing room, then walk the same path to the ice as the players.
Takes us out to the players' bench.
Yeah, exactly. So just up and to our right is where the players' bench typically is. We are setting up for Disney on Ice, so we have the bench taken out. The experience from going from the Oilers door, walking out the players' tunnel to the players' bench, because that's something you see on TV, but it's never something you can experience firsthand. So I think for a lot of people, that's been quite like a memorable moment for them.
The Classic Tour costs $20 for youth and $30 for adults. There are also private VIP tours available.
Like, you go to a concert, you walk around, you see it, but we need to see kind of what's behind the scenes. Could be neat, yeah.
Tours won't happen on game days or when there's an event happening. Available dates can be found on the Rogers Place website. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
After cleaning up the pens and dirt at Rogers Place, the Oilers Entertainment Group says that the PBR Bulls will return for another year.
It's Moonwalk from Dawson Bridge. Let's go!
The Professional Bull Riders Canada National Finals will buck back into the city November 13th and 14th. This past weekend, Saskatchewan's Jared Parsonage was crowned the 2025 PBR Canada champion with 4 rides eclipsing the 8-second mark. PBR Canada says more than 17,000 people attended the 2-day final. Tickets for next year's PBR go on sale on Friday.
See me roll on my Segway. I know in my heart they think I'm wide and nerdy. Just too wide and nerdy.
And Weird Al Yankovic will be bringing his musical parodies to Rogers Place next year. His Bigger and Weirder tour stops in the city on September 1st. Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Ski hills around Edmonton are working hard to get their runs ready while enduring above average November temperatures. CTV's Gage Squarn has more on the preparations and when skiers can expect to hit the slopes.
The snow machines at Rabbit Hill Ski Resort have been blowing snow throughout the evenings and into the mornings. Work well underway to get the hills ready for opening.
You know, you're talking 6 to 8 weeks of actual snowmaking to get us open.
But the long process has had to work around warm days, which has been the norm the last few years.
If you look at recent history, I mean, 4 of the last 5 Novembers have started exactly like this November for temperatures. So this isn't really all that unusual.
And Rabbit Hill co-owner Derek Look says the weather just adds to the difficulty.
We're usually running and then we shut down and then we run again. So, you know, we're always investing in new technology for snowmaking so that we can make more snow at warmer temperatures. If we could see those, you know, evening temperatures of -15, that would be amazing.
The hill uses fan guns and air water sticks to blanket the hill. Look says it takes 40 to 50 million gallons of water to cover every run. That's roughly 150 to 190 million liters. Despite the warmer days, the hill continues to get its share of man-made snowfall.
I truly believe this will be kind of the norm moving forward, so we need to make sure we're keeping up with that.
Even though November has been above average, there is good news for skiers and snowboarders on the horizon.
You get to December 1st, 90% of the time there's snow on the ground that stays for the winter. So somewhere in the next couple of weeks I would expect some snow.
But the work continues for Look and his team.
We'll see how the next week goes, and that will tell us a lot of what we can open and when.
Aiming for an end of November opening. Gate Squarn, CTV News, Edmonton.
Just ahead, helping others to heal. How a former hockey player turned a tragedy into a positive. Plus, Matchstick miniatures. How a local senior's pastime has become a passion.
And I say, well, it won't be long. And of course, she says I'm twice as long as I said I was going to be.
Good evening, folks. After a warm end to the weekend, a lot closer to average today. It was 8 degrees on Sunday. Today, just 1 for a daytime high. We'll be around the freezing mark again tomorrow with some snow late in the day. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Help us build a mountain of toys. Donate today at ctvedmonton.ca.
Welcome back. A new documentary is revisiting the Swift Current Broncos crash. Defenseman Bob Wilkie was forever changed by the trauma of that fateful day. After finding healing for himself, he found a way to support others. CTV's Glenn Campbell reports.
December 30th, 1986, the Swift Current Broncos were on their way to Regina to play the Pats. Shortly after leaving town, their bus hit a patch of black ice and crashed. 4 players, Trent Cressy, Scott Kruger, Chris Mantica, and Brent Ruff, tragically died in the accident. Bob Wilkie was a 17-year-old defenseman with the Broncos. He says that day haunted him.
It's like watching, you know, some of those movies that you get to watch where you can't even believe what you're seeing, what you're experiencing, what you're hearing. It was overwhelming to the point where the shock in my system just shut it down.
It didn't help that sexual predator Graham James was the Broncos' head coach. Wilkie says he didn't allow the team to talk about the crash or to seek professional help as he was secretly abusing some players.
You know, the unfortunate part of the story is that dark underbelly of Graham and what he was doing to some of my teammates, and how, you know, the support and help to bring somebody in was denied. I know now that there was definitely people offering to come in and help. But it just wasn't going to be allowed.
The silence led to mental health problems. Over the years, Wilkie turned to alcohol to help him cope with the pain. When that didn't help anymore, he had thoughts of giving up.
You know, 24 years old, playing for the Philadelphia Flyers, and that was the first time that I felt like maybe it was time to end it. You know, it was so painful.
But Wilkie chose to live, and that led him to a journey of helping others. He started I Got Mine, the mission to heal together, grow stronger, and change the conversation around mental illness. It also is the reason why it was important to do a documentary. Sideways is a story of trauma, resilience, and healing, turning the tragedy into something positive and hopefully helping others.
I'm really excited about, you know, maybe that one person out there who's all alone and really struggling sees that there's this documentary out there and watches it. To have it out there in the world, yeah, it's a pretty proud moment.
Glenn Campbell, CTV Sports, Calgary.
From the Tower Bridge in England to the Taj Mahal in India, a local senior is bringing international landmarks to life in his basement. As CTV's Nariman Issa reports, his next landmark project is one a little closer to home.
Esmond Warren prepares a piece of wood before heading to his workbench.
Here again, you see, you build this one piece flat.
What started off as a project to keep him busy has turned into a passion.
Our daughter brought me the first kit as a Christmas present. I thought, good grief. Yeah, I was not too impressed with it at the start, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed it.
Warren recreates landmarks using small matchstick-sized wood pieces. His projects include the Tower Bridge in London, India's Taj Mahal, and the Notre Dame Cathedral of Paris. A special project in honor of his granddaughter, who died of complications of cystic fibrosis.
When she passed away, she left me with the instructions that I should finish it for her. So I was very, very proud to be able to do that.
Not all are famous landmarks.
This was the dairy barn, and there's the silo over there.
This is a replica of their family farm in New Sarepta, with one important detail.
Our son came here one day and saw it and said, well, where's Mum? Because Mum always cut the grass. So then I had to go and make a little tractor and put her on it.
Esmond's next project is the Alberta legislature.
That one isn't made with matchsticks. I cut the wood for that one, and I'm building that one from scratch. No blueprints.
The 87-year-old says each project takes 200-plus hours to finish.
She kind of rolls her eyes when I go down to the man cave. And I say, well, it won't be long. And of course, she says I'm twice as long as I said I was going to be.
This hobby may be time-consuming. However,
I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't enjoying it.
A labor of love, one landmark at a time. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
After the break, green is the color. The Saskatchewan Roughriders claim the 112th Grey Cup.
And it feels just like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, baby.
Tuesday in your morning, how to save money on holiday gifts by making them yourselves, plus advice to make end of life easier for your family, and the latest pitch from the group behind the River Valley Gondolas.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. -5 this morning. Some fog in the Edmonton area, especially outlying regions and south of the city in particular. We got up to 1 for a daytime high this afternoon, so just barely above average as the clouds hung around all day. It'll be another cloudy day tomorrow. We've got some snow set to fall tomorrow morning in through the foothills and mountain parks. Chance of some freezing rain here in the pink zones. For Edmonton, it's going to be snow. It doesn't look like this has much chance of being mixed precipitation or freezing rain. It'll start to sneak up on the Edmonton area from the west-southwest mid-afternoon. Most of the snow is going to come through right around evening commute time, though. Somewhere in the 4 to 7 p.m. range looks like when most of the snow is going to go through. And the heaviest, best chance for 5, maybe a little bit more centimeters of accumulation is going to stay south of Edmonton. But I think there's parts of the Edmonton region that could pick up some accumulation. Doesn't look like a really huge dump of snow, but there might be anywhere between a trace and maybe as much as 2 or 3 centimeters in parts of the Edmonton region by mid to late evening. By the time we get to 8, 9 o'clock, most, if not all of this is now off to the east and southeast. And then we get some clearing on the way for Wednesday and a warm-up towards the end of the week. Should be back a handful of degrees above zero by Friday, Saturday. So any snow that's on the ground by Wednesday morning is probably mostly gone by the end of the week. -11 in Fort McMurray, -12 in Grand Prairie tomorrow morning. We'll be in the -6, -7 range from Red Deer north through the Edmonton, east towards Lloydminster areas. About 2 degrees above zero in Grand Prairie, a degree or 2 below zero in Fort McMurray, Cold Lake, Lac La Biche, right around the freezing mark for Red Deer and Lloydminster. And Jasper gets to around 5 degrees tomorrow. Here in the city, 0, cloudy. Snow late in the day, clearing, and 2 degrees Wednesday. Back 4 or 5 degrees above zero for Friday, Saturday. But 1 week from today, the cool down begins. Looks like temperatures go from above average for much of this week to below average next week. That is your forecast.
After 12 long years, the Grey Cup is headed back to Saskatchewan. The win, just the Riders' 5th in the franchise's 115-year history. CTV's Donovan Mace has the details.
Last play. It is SR time in 2025.
Needs a touchdown. Heaving it down the field, into the end zone, deflected, and it falls to the field. And Gray has just turned green and white.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders, Grey Cup champions for the first time since 2013.
You say it fast enough, it's our time. And so we need to get some T-shirts printed up that says that's our time. And it was our time, and I was glad we were able to come through.
So we knew that we were able to retain a bunch of guys and keep the core. Going into year 2 as a group, there's no reason why we shouldn't be here tonight. And then here we are. Harris, and he gets it underneath MLS, and afterwards rounds the corner.
Trevor Harris winning his first Grey Cup as a starting quarterback in the CFL, being named the game's most outstanding player.
I feel like I'm just getting started to be in a way, but just couldn't be more grateful to do it with this group of guys.
3 receivers out to the right. Harris looking that way. It's complete. It's Ellis inside the 20.
While Samuel Ellis voted most outstanding Canadian.
It just had to happen against them. It was definitely motivation, and we made it happen. Everybody in the organization made it happen.
Offensive coordinator Mark Mueller, along with 6 players on this championship team, are locally grown. Born and raised in Saskatchewan, now lifting the cup in the green and white they grew up loving.
It means so much to me because my family can be a part of it. They're a huge part of it. And I'm just so that this group has been special since we got here.
Having the province behind us, so to be able to bring that back to them is something we're super excited about.
We brought it home. We brought it home, Rider Nation. Couldn't be more happy. Rider Nation deserves this. It's been way too long.
And the Grey Cup returning to Rider Nation.
I'm so happy for the province. I'm happy for Rider Nation, everybody back home. I can't wait to come and celebrate with everybody. We really appreciate Rider Nation, man. They stuck with us through and through. We love you, Rider Nation. Let's go, man. Come on.
The confetti now settled. The celebration just beginning.
What does that feel like?
Man, it feels just like that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, baby.
Donovan May, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Absolutely incredible. I don't know when that party is going to wrap up for all of my friends and family back home. Really excited for Donovan Mace. Crossed paths with him during my time in Regina, and I'm sure that hat, that now hopefully dried hat, is got a place of honor at his desk at CTV Regina. That's all from us on this Monday night. Thanks for wrapping up your day with us here on CTV Edmonton. We'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same place. Until then, take care and goodbye for now.